A viral post claims that classes nationwide are suspended due to a dangerous...
But what if I told you not everything we see online is true? Every single day, millions of people scroll, react, and share information within seconds. But in a world where anyone can post anything, how do you know what is real and what is fake? Today, we will uncover the hidden dangers of information disorder and learn how false and harmful information spreads across media platforms. Good day everyone, I am Joby and Ekomai from grade 11 discipline, and today I will be discussing information disorder and its three major types: disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. In today's digital age, information spreads faster than ever through platforms like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and X. News can reach millions of people in only a few minutes. While technology allows us to stay informed and connected, it also makes it easier for false, misleading, and harmful content to spread. Because of this, many people become victims of fake news, online manipulation, scams, and public misinformation. Some false information may only create confusion, while others can influence elections, damage reputations, create panic, or even endanger lives. This is why media literacy and critical thinking are extremely important in our generation today. And now, our objectives for today is that by the end of my report, you should be able to define information disorder and its importance in media literacy, differentiate disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation, analyze examples of fake or harmful content found online, identify techniques used in verifying information, understand the importance of responsible media consumption and fact-checking before sharing information. Now, before discussing the three types, let us first understand what information disorder means. Now, information disorder refers to the creation, sharing, and spread of false, misleading, manipulated, or harmful information. Now, it affects how people think, react, and make decisions. And according to media experts, information disorder is dangerous because many people consume information quickly without verifying whether it is accurate or credible. As a result, false information spreads rapidly across social media platforms. Now, information disorder is commonly divided into three categories: disinformation, misinformation, and malinformation. Now, although these three may appear similar, their intentions, effects, and characteristics are different. Now, let us begin with the first type, which is disinformation. Now, disinformation is false information that is deliberately created and shared to deceive, manipulate, or mislead people. The key word here is that it is false information and it is intentional in spreading it. Now, this means that the person spreading the information already knows that it is false, but still shares it to influence public opinion, gain attention, create panic, or damage someone's reputation. Now, this information is often emotionally manipulative. It commonly uses shocking headlines, edited images, fake statistics, or misleading captions to trigger strong emotional reactions from the audiences. Let us examine this viral post targeting Kapitan Kikang Uy. Now, at first glance, it looks like a legitimate news report. However, this is actually a manufactured quote card designed to imitate a real news post. Because if we analyze it carefully, we can identify several signs that reveal it as a part of a disinformation campaign. Now, the first red flag is the source name itself, Boss Balita, and as well as the post itself, which includes unofficial. Now, legitimate news organizations do not label themselves as unofficial in their posts or in their main title, because trusted news outlets maintain verified identities, because credibility and accountability are essential in journalism. Now let us take a look at the page or the handle itself. Now let's verify the handle. So from this short video, we can see that the account Boss Balita is not a verified account. Now it has its post also has very few engagement in it, so it can really arouse suspicion on whether it is legitimate or not. So now, going back, another warning sign is how the content spreads across platforms. Now, let's take a look at the labels within the post. So now, here it says unofficial TikTok vibes PH, and also here in the bottom it says follow us on Facebook, unofficial TikTok vibes PH. Now, many creators of fake news first post content on other platforms like TikTok because its algorithm can make misinformation spread very quickly. They then take screenshots of those posts and repost them on other platforms like Facebook, where older or less tech-aware audiences are more likely to believe them. Now, this tactic is called platform hopping, and it is commonly used in spreading disinformation. So, to verify the claim, we should always check official pages and trusted sources. So, like what we did earlier, we checked the page to verify whether it is trusted or official. Now, in this case, there was an official Barangay Carmen page to release a statement clarifying that the quote did not come from any legitimate office and warned the public about the specific TikTok account responsible for spreading the false information. So, if a page only exists as a random social media handle and has no verified website, official office, or clear identity, it should immediately raise suspicion. Now, we can also do this by checking the page of Barangay Carmen. So, let us see if whether or not it is legitimate or not. So, now, although it may not have a verified, indicator, but we can see that it is a legitimate account because it is the account used by Barangay Carmen in posting its statements and pages. So, upon looking at the account, it is the official account. Now, in this post, people were affected because false quote cards like this can encourage online harassment against public officials or individuals. The creators often hide behind anonymous accounts while directing public anger towards their target. And when people encounter fake news pages, they begin to doubt the legitimate journalism as well. This weakens public trust and makes it harder for communities to identify accurate information during important situations or emergencies. So this is why we do not just verify the post, we also verify the account behind it. Because if you encounter suspicious news content, we search the page or the handle first. And if you see labels such as unofficial, parody, or accounts without verified identities, we should avoid sharing the content and instead report the account for spreading false information. So now that we determine those, we can now say that the post is fake news. Now moving on. While political disinformation targets people's beliefs, a more advanced form called deepfake disinformation targets our very senses. A video recently went viral featuring Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto endorsing a slot machine app and promising 2,058 pesos bonus for a small deposit. While it looks and sounds like him, this was actually an AI-generated deepfake designed to lure people into a financial scam. So, let's take a look at the video.
Natunay na legitimo at napakadaling manalo. Kapag dinownload nyo agad, makakakuha kayo ng 58 kaagad. Mag-deposit mo lamang ng 50 at makakatanggap kayo ng 2,058 na bonus at may kasama pa 38x Super Ace Multiplier. At kung iniisip nyo na baka hindi nyo ma-withdraw, imposible po yan dahil sa GCash, ilang segundo lang, walang limitasyon, mabilis at madali. At sa bawat kaibigan maiimbitahan ninyo, makakuha kayo muli ng 2,000 tandaan po natin, limitado ang redemption code at ang promo ay para lang lamang. Kaya mga kababayan, huwag na natin palampasin ang pagkakataon na ito.
Now, notice how the video uses the mayor's actual face and voice. The scammers use his reputation for integrity to create a false sense of trust. So, it's basically a persona hijack. Now, they want you to believe that if a respected official supports the app, it must be legitimate. However, we have to think logically. Would a government leader really use their platform to promote illegal online gambling? The answer is, of course, no. Official endorsements from public figures are documented through verified government channels, not random TikTok or real ads. Now, another big clue is that the visual and auditory glitches. Because if you look closely at the mayor's mouth, the lip movements don't perfectly match the Tagalog syllables being spoken. This is a common tell in AI generation. The voice also has a monotonic quality. While it mimics the pitch, it lacks the natural emotion cadence and human breath patterns of the real mayor. Now, deepfakes often struggle to replicate the soul of a person's speaking style. Now, next is the script follows a classic get-rich-quick template. So, of course, you must analyze the too good to be offer. It asks for a 50 pesos deposit in exchange for a massive 2,058 pesos bonus. In the world of cybersecurity, any offer that promises high returns for almost no investment is already a massive red flag. Because legitimate apps or businesses do not operate on these types of miracle math equations. This is a psychological trap meant to bypass your critical thinking by triggering excitement. And another thing is we can do to verify is, of course, just searching the information we have gathered. So here I search on this, and then various information popped up. So here is an official statement from Mr. Pasig Mayor Vico Soto himself saying that kawawa ang mga biktima, nagkalat ang ganitong uri ng fake or AI-generated work. Minsan mukha ng totoo, yung audio tunog, totoo na rin. So, yeah. And then there are also other credible sources from verifying that the video that we have watched was actually a form of fake news or deep fake, such as this from the Pasig City Government PH page, where Pasig Mayor Vico Soto announced na mag-ingat sa mga online scam na gumamit ng deepfake o AI-generated videos. And then, also a report from the Manila Times states that Pasig Mayor warns public versus AI video again using his face. Now, let's take a look at this video.
Pasig City Mayor Vico Soto is warning the public against fake or an AI-generated video using his face to promote a gambling website. Soto says the spread of AI-generated videos was becoming more dangerous. He says scammers use them for illegal promotions and other forms of online deception. He advised the public to be cautious of investment
Now, as you can
scams,
see, through a
love
simple Google
scams,
search,
and other
we
schemes
have now,
that use manipulated or
found
fabricated
out that
videos.
the video we just saw earlier was actually fake news. So, yes. Now, those are some ways that we have found out that what we can do to and what we will do if we should encounter this type of fake news. So of course we have to verify the handle first and then check with other sources whether it is legitimate or not, and also check for official warnings from the government. And now we just do not just scroll past this incident, because reporting these videos for fraud or scam helps the platform's algorithm identify and take down the deepfake before it reaches more vulnerable users like our younger siblings or the elderly. because technology has reached a point where we can no longer trust our eyes and ears alone. Deepfakes exploit our emotions and our respectful leaders to get to our pockets, and by staying skeptical, looking for digital imperfections, and always verifying through official sources, we can stay one step ahead of the scammers. And now, this information does not only manipulate opinions, it can also exploit people's trust, emotions, and personal needs. And by learning to examine sources carefully, we can not only protect ourselves but also our families and communities from digital deception. And now let us move on to the second type, which is a misinformation. Misinformation is false or inaccurate information shared without harmful intent. So, a key reminder is that it is false or inaccurate information but without harmful intent. Because unlike disinformation, the person sharing the content usually believes that it is true. They may spread it because they want to help, they want to inform others, but they react quickly without verifying the facts first. Now let's take a look at this post from the energy sector PH announcing an energy lockdown starting April 20, 2026. So, for example, during times of uncertainty, people often repose dramatic warnings to their loved ones. So, like I said earlier in this sample, a graphic circulated online claiming an energy lockdown would begin on April 20. So, it urged the public to hoard power banks, solar equipment, and even food. So a lot of users shared this because it felt believable. Because in the late March 2026, President Marcos Jr. declared a state of national energy emergency under Executive Order 110. While this measure was real and meant to secure fuel supply and prevent price spikes, it was definitely not a lockdown. Because though global tensions in the Middle East also made people anxious, since about 98% of our crude oil imports come from that region, disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz made the public fear the worst. So this anxiety made it easier for this fabricated graphic to go viral. Now here we can see some comments from the public on their thoughts of regarding this news announcement. So as you can see in the captions, ordinary citizens were asking, "Totoo ba? Is this true?" They shared it out of the sincere desire to prepare their families. And Filipinos are already stretched thin by the rising prices, and a lockdown would be devastating. So while the information was inaccurate, there was no clear intent from these users to deceive. They simply failed to verify before hitting share. Therefore, this is a misinformation. And now, in order to analyze, counter this content, we have to look at the facts and the red flags. So first, let's look at the official government details and denials. So both the Malacanang and the Department of Energy have explicitly refuted this. So here is a post from, upon searching, here is a post from the Department of Energy of the Philippines. So the DOE alerts that walang energy lockdown. So, yes. And then, we can verify this by looking at their page. So now as you can see, it is the official page of the Department of Energy of the Philippines. And now through another simple Google search, based on this post, various other information showed up that saying that this energy lockdown is actually not true. So here is a post from the Philippine Information Agency, or the PIA. So as you can see, it is also a credible and verifiable news source because this is an official government page of the Philippines. So here is the page and the logo and other information. So here it says DOE debunks a new fake news on energy lockdown. And then here we have another post from the Philippine News Agency, or the PNA. That is also another government website of the Philippines, and says fake news. Palace says on alleged energy lockdown starting April 20. So from that we can already tell that this is the official page of an information announcement of the um government. So there are also other information saying that Palace Press Officer Claire Castro confirmed in early April that no such lockdown was planned, calling it fake news ito. So yes, and then earlier the DOE also warned that their logo was used without permission to spread panic, like what I showed earlier. So based on these official government reports, I guess we can verify or say that the post was a form of fake news. But to make it more clear, let's look at other ways on how we can verify this. Now, next is a misleading terminology. So if you take a good look at the original post, it says energy lockdown. But energy lockdown is not an official term. It was likely used to mirror the fear of COVID-19 lockdowns and trigger panic buying. So, real government directives use terms like demand-side management or rotational brownouts to officially declare issues like this. Now, another thing to check for is the authority and the specifics. So, the graphic is attributed to Energy Sector PH, but it is not a real government agency. It also uses panic-inducing language, telling people to stock up on medicines and water, but it is not quite related to it is unrelated to an energy crisis. Now, there is also a red banner in the command to inform your family and friends are classic hallmarks of a post designed to go viral before it can be debunked. Now, based on what we have learned, we can see that this original post is a form of fake news or misinformation, because the reality as of May 2026, while we have seen some yellow and red alerts due to the high demand and transmission issues, the government is focused on stabilizing the grid, not cutting off energy. So always verify these announcements by checking the official pages of the Department of Energy or the Presidential Communications Office. Remember, if a post demands urgent action and tries to make you panic, take a deep breath and wait for the official word. So moving on to the final type of information disorder we will be talking about, which is malinformation. So it is a bit different from the first two because of how it uses the truth. Now, malinformation refers to the genuine or truthful information that is shared intentionally to harm, embarrass, exploit, or damage someone. Now, unlike disinformation and misinformation, the information itself may actually be true. However, the problem lies in the harmful purposes behind spreading it. So, for example, take this news report from May 2024. It details a significant diplomatic escalation triggered by the leaking of a private phone conversation between a Chinese diplomat and a Filipino admiral. Even when the information recorded is authentic, releasing a private high-stakes conversation without consent is a classic example of malinformation. Now, in analyzing this example, we can observe that the content of the call is real, the information captured is accurate, but it was shared maliciously to sow discord, weaken a nation's negotiating position, or attack the credibility of a public official. This transforms truthful private information into harmful, weaponized content. Now, malinformation can seriously affect a person's health, reputation, and in this case, even national security and international relations. So, other examples include revenge posting, leaking private diplomatic conversations, exposing confidential state documents, or publicly sharing sensitive personal data. Now, this reminds us that not all truthful information is meant for the public eye. Responsible media use involves more than just fact-checking. It involves respecting the privacy, ethics, and human dignity. And now, to conclude, information disorder is one of the biggest challenges in today's digital world. So, we learned that disinformation is false information shared intentionally to deceive. Misinformation is false information shared unintentionally. Malinformation is real information shared to harm others. And as digital citizens, we must become critical thinkers and responsible media users. Before reacting or sharing online content, we should stop. Now, based what we have learned today, we must search for official sources. So let's always check verified pages like official government pages or legitimate news organizations before believing a post. Now next is to check the URL and account. Check if the website domain is suspicious, like it uses .top or .xyz, or if the social media handle is labeled unofficial. Let's also check videos, whether or not if it is a deep fake or an AI generated media. So of course we can see this by looking at the fine details of the information presented. Now next is observe the intent. Ask if the post is trying to trigger a strong emotional reaction, such as a panic or fear. Now lastly, let us pause before sharing. Take a deep breath and verify the information instead of reacting impulsively to dramatic headlines. Now, in a world with information, knowledge alone is not enough. We must also practice responsibility, awareness, and critical thinking. Because one careless share can spread fear, but one responsible decision can stop misinformation from spreading. Always remember, think before you click, share, and believe. That's all for today, everybody. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.